Let us learn about another event which occurs during the light reaction of photosynthesis, that is splitting of water. Now the splitting of water is also called as photolysis of water. The photolysis or splitting of water includes the breaking of the water molecules into hydrogen ions, electrons, and the release of oxygen gas. So the electrons will be produced and oxygen gas will be O2 will be released. Alright, so as we studied previously in the electron transport system, that the electrons travel from photosystem 2 to photosystem 1 through a Z scheme or through the electron transport system. So the electrons started moving from photosystem 2 and they ultimately reached the photosystem 1 where they produce the NADPH by reduction. So there must be a scarcity or non-availability of electron in the light harvesting complex of photosystem 2 because all the electrons that were excited, they traveled towards the electron acceptor and through the electron transport system they reached the photosystem 1. Hence no more electrons are available on the light harvesting complex. So to compensate this loss of electrons in the photosystem 2, some more electrons are generated and these electrons are provided to the photosystem 2 to compensate for the loss of electrons. So from where these electrons are coming? These electrons are coming from the splitting of water itself. Alright, so if we look at the reaction of splitting of water, then this is the chemical reaction for photolysis of water. It will produce 4 H plus ions plus 4 electrons and oxygen gas will be released. So these electrons which are produced here by the photolysis of water, these electrons will travel to the light harvesting complex of the photosystem 2 and they compensate for the loss of electron that occurred in the photosystem 2 during the electron transport system. Alright, so the 4 electrons which are produced by the photolysis of water, these electrons are provided in the photosystem 2. These 4 electrons move back to the photosystem 2 to compensate for the loss of electrons. Alright, so the photolysis of water or splitting of water is associated with photosystem 2 only. So let me write down the reaction here. Two H2O will give 4 H plus, 4 electrons and oxygen will be released, and these electrons will travel back to photosystem 2. Now the electrons that were lost in the photosystem 1 here, these electrons, the loss of the electron was compensated by the electrons traveling through the electron transport system, right? The electrons started moving from photosystem 2 then towards the electron transport chain and they ultimately reached the photosystem 1 so they already compensated the loss of electrons in photosystem 1. But the electrons which were lost from the photosystem 2, they were compensated by the photolysis of water, and photolysis of water is associated with photosystem 2 only. Alright, and photosystem 2, where it occurs in the inner side of the thylakoid membrane. So photolysis of water also occurs in the inner side of the thylakoid membrane. So let us write down these two important points, that photolysis of water is associated with photosystem 2 only, and it occurs in the inner side of thylakoid membrane. Alright, so this was about the splitting of water, which is an important event during the light reaction. The splitting of water creates electrons. These electrons compensates the loss of electrons from photosystem 2 and maintains the continuous supply of electrons for the electron transport chain or the electron transport system to keep occurring, so that ATP and NADPH are produced in the light reaction. As well as splitting of water also produces oxygen gas, and oxygen is a byproduct of photosynthesis and is very essential for all the living beings on the earth. Hence, splitting of water has its own importance, and it is associated with photosystem 2 only, and it occurs in the inner side of the thylakoid membrane. So I hope splitting of water is clear to you. That's all for this lesson. Thank you so much.